welcome to another episode of Couch Potato Queens. I'm your host, Sam Meyer.
And I'm also your host, Josh Mendelson.
Josh, how are you feeling today? You happy to be here?
I'm just enjoying my day. I'm ready for these episodes, honey. Let's go.
I am so ready for these episodes. We've got some fun, hot takes in these episodes. And I don't know, when I think hot take, there's someone in particular I think of. Why don't you tell the people about our guest today, Josh?
I will, but first, I'm just going to acknowledge the fact that we are doing up Christmas today and doing up a holiday with our red flannel.
Look at
Happy
us.
holidays, everybody.
I am the reason. The Couch Potato Queens are the reason for the season, honey.
I know. Well, I'm a Jew, so happy Chanukah to all my Jews out there. Happy Merry Christmas to all the non-Jews out there, and happy Kwanzaa, Chinese New Year, whatever you want to say.
Leonard, not for a while, but we will certainly celebrate when we get there.
Let's do a holiday for everybody.
I love that. Everyone gets a holiday. We're like the Oprahs of holidays.
I know. It's amazing. All right. So I'm going to bring on our guest today.
Okay.
She is a friend of mine that I actually met playing an online mafia game that went so well. It was so much fun. I instantly knew she was like my bestie. It's great. She is well known in the RHAP community, specifically Rob and Akiva need a podcast. She is the Gen Z expert for them and also a Twitter star. She has a few followers, doing well. I'd like to bring on TikTok Nicole.
Yes! TikTok Nicole.
Hi, Hi, Sarah.
How are you doing, girl?
To be here.
We are so excited to have you. TikTok Nicole, say hello to the people at home. Tell them a little bit about yourself that we have not covered. I don't know. Just give them the spiel.
So I am a huge reality TV fan. I know people usually see me making fun of Rob and Akiva for being, middle-aged men. But I feel like a little fun fact about me is that I love Survivor just as much as the rest. I've been watching the show my whole life, and going back to watch Borneo has been quite the culture shock. And before we move on, I would just want to say happy Chinooka to Josh, in the words of Smokey Robinson, and 'tis the season.
'Tis the season for the Chinookan. Oh, okay.
I will always be a Chinookan.
Yeah. So
like Zelda-ish. Like that's
a little bit.
That's good. Going with that.
Oh, okay, y'all. Shall we dive into so folks at home, today we are going to be covering season 1 Borneo episodes 7 and 8. And ooh, honey, TikTok Nicole, I'd stop the world and merge with you.
Oh my goodness. You guys gave me like one of the big dog episodes, and it's crazy that like they all were anticipating this merge, where like coming into this season the first time, I'm like, oh, they give them a lot of background info. They had a lot of time to prep for this, to know when they were going in, to kind of prepare their strategies. And even though they had prior knowledge that they were merging, a lot of people, their strategies were just not in check for this.
No, and it is so fun to watch with a modern perspective.
I know, because it's so different from how they did it then to how they do it now. But how they do it now is, hey, drop your buffs, you're merged. But then it was like whole preparation. They were talking about it for the last 3 episodes, how they're merging. It wasn't like a surprise factor. They all knew it was coming.
Mm-hmm. So I think with that, we get into the episode. We find out right at the top there's going to be a merge summit. So Tagi and Pagong will both send a representative. Sean is chosen from the Tagi tribe to go to Pagong, and Jenna is chosen from the Pagong tribe to go to Tagi. And these two are going to do their research on what the other tribe has, and then they will meet on a sandbar to negotiate which beach they'll choose, the name of the new tribe, the flag, and 3 items from the tribe that's moving that they'll bring with them. 3, the like reward items from camp. So they get there, and Sean and Jenna have markedly different experiences. So Jenna is getting the 5-star treatment right from the get out. I mean, Tagi wants to keep their beach. They have been organized. They have been working for this. Sean, on the other hand, gets moldy coconuts at Pagong. Let's talk about this for a minute. Was there anything in particular that anyone did that you thought was like a good move to sort of win over a certain camp? TikTok Nicole.
Up top, why did they pick Jenna and Sean? It seems like Jenna's whole tribe hates her. So why did they pick her to be the spokesperson? They clearly just like maybe they just wanted her off the island for a day. But I would have like if Greg is like the leader according to Gretchen. I mean Gretchen has a better sense of like wilderness. She went to like boot camp. Why did they pick Jenna? I mean Sean is a doctor. I get it, but Jenna
Honestly,
that was.
Honestly, though, I mean, with Rudy's comments about how much Sean and Jenna both talk, I think both of the tribes were just annoyed with them and wanted to get rid of them.
Set them all on a side, people. That's what I thought. First of all, as someone who is a mega fan of Survivor, I judge Jenna based on how she was an all-star, so I hate Jenna. Like, Jenna is like one of my least favorite contestants ever in the history of Survivor because of her second time coming on the show. So I know how annoying the woman is. So yes, I would send her away on a ship to across the ocean and never talk to her again. Box her up, send her away. She is so annoying. So I think Pagong listened to my instructions 20 years ago, you know?
Yeah. I think it's really funny that like Richard and Sue, they have really set out to give Jenna the 5-star treatment. Richard is cooking up some cuttlefish for her. You know, they're being really nice to her. Kelly and Jenna are having like this cute little gal pal time. They're manipulating Jenna like from the get-go because they want to keep their beach, which I think is very smart. They've got a great setup. Rudy specifically thinks that Jenna and Sean are gonna have a great time talking, and he goes something along the lines of, "I don't know which one talks more. She ain't shut up since she been here." So, Jenna and Sean join each other on the sandbar for a banquet. There is lobster. There are buckets of butter.
Sam, really quick, I just want to say, with how Richard was at the camp, Richard was manipulating Jenna so much. He knew easily. He's like, I want her at our beach. Like, I want them to come over to Toggy. So, like, I think Richard was kind of playing the game. Nicole, do you agree with that?
I totally agree. Like, it probably takes up so much energy to pack up all of your things, take a raft to the other island. Just from so many like standpoints, they know that they have fish at that beach, and Jenna has such like I don't want to say she's not smart, but that's not the first thing I think of when I think of Jenna Lewis. So I feel like it wouldn't have taken that much convincing anyways, but it's always good to have a contingency plan or a strategy to get them to want to do what you want to do.
Totally. I couldn't agree more. So we get to the Sandbar Banquet. As I was saying, lobster, boatloads of butter. I mean, we got potatoes. We've got 4 bottles of wine. And yet again, Survivor is leaning in real hard, trying to get that nookie cookie nibbled. Okay. I don't know how else to say. I do know a lot of other ways to say that, actually. But in the words of Jenna, they were setting this up to be romantic with Sean, and there is nothing going on there. Sean very much feels the same. They both see the setup and they're like, we're not going to have sex, but we are going to drink all 4 bottles of wine.
But are they just saying that?
Ooh.
Do we think?
I mean, if I drank 2 bottles of wine on an empty stomach, who knows what's going to happen? That's a lot. That's alcohol poisoning right there.
Lest we forget, Sean is a doctor with a nibble ring.
And that's it. No brain.
I mean, we've talked about his abs. He's looking very like, I don't know, starvation chic right now. He's shredded. He's got a single nipple. I mean, come on.
He's island hot for sure.
Definitely. I love that term too. Like, I feel like I want to, like, there's normal world hot, but then there's also like island hot, where you've been deprived of other human beings. You're starving. A production is trying to get you to have sex on camera.
The desperation. That's the hottest part for me.
They're giving you alcohol. This is, I think, what the Hunger Games is based off of. I really think they got it from Survivor.
Dr. Sean, let me take you in. You can take a shower at my apartment. You know,
you can give me an anesthetic anytime, honey.
Yeah.
A hot meal.
Sip on that coconut.
And that Super Bowl.
As long as it's not rotten.
Oh, as long as it's not rotten. Does Sean have a rotten coconut? Have rotten coconuts?
I know, we gotta ask Jenna.
So after their night, and plenty of people on both sides speculating what might be happening, Jenna announces that Sean let her do all the deciding. And really what that ends up with is Jenna has been convinced, manipulated to pick the Tagi beach. And then none of the other details really matter. Like the flag, the name. We get our new name, Ratana. Cool, also dumb.
Sounds like a Pokemon.
It
totally does.
It's one letter away. It is one letter away from being a Pokemon.
Oh yeah, Rattata.
Yeah.
We're collecting them all.
Also, it's based on rattan, and like I don't want to insult anyone's culture, but I feel like rattan furniture is just sort of like, bleh, it's not for me. So basing an entire tribe name on like very dated outdoor furniture is just like not totally my deal.
Wicker furniture, because that's what I'm
basically.
Okay.
If I'm remembering rattan, I could be completely wrong on this.
No, it's just
comments if I'm illiterate. So anyway, they get back to the beach, and Sean and Jenna are obnoxious about their night. I mean, they are telling everyone how good their night was and making the whole camp hate them. TikTok Nicole, any thoughts about what happens when someone comes back to camp and does that?
Did you know that they had 4 bottles of wine?
Yes, they say
4 bottles of wine.
4 bottles of wine.
And
butter.
With butter.
And bread. They buttered their muffins and drank 4 bottles of wine.
Yeah. So obnoxious, so tone deaf. Like, I know it's the first season and we could cut them some slack, but if I was going back to my starving tribe mates with a whole grandiose story of how luxurious my night was, they were inside in the middle of a rainstorm. I would have been fuming if they were flexing.
Even more than the food, I think, like being able to sleep in a dry area would be like, with blankets and, like, I feel like that is like almost more of a win.
Yeah, like, way to be an asshole. Like, we've been in the rain all night. Like, don't even brag. I'm surprised that Rudy didn't, whip them.
Seriously.
There you go.
He will with his words and his interviews.
They were just so happy to merge, though. I'll tell you that. I mean, the Tagi tribe, Rudy just wasn't having it. So, hey.
Oh, my God. Yeah. So we get to the merge. Jenna and Sean go back to the Pagong Beach and say, you got 5 minutes, pack up your shit, we're going to Tagi. We get the tribes together, and this is not the happy-go-lucky sort of happy merge that we were expecting necessarily this season. Pagong sort of gets jolted awake, I feel, at least a little bit, that there is a game finally being played somewhere, anywhere on this island. Greg calls out Richard's game immediately. We get another fun work montage, like the duk, 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 duk. The women are all working, and the roof collapses on their shelter, which is really unfortunate. The men are just like hanging out, playing cards. Richard makes fun of Greg for trying to fish. Sean is talking about being terrified of, he had an opportunity to have a threesome and was too terrified, so he ran away.
Let's talk about that for a second. Let's do that.
Let's Cap. I'm calling Cap. That cannot be true.
100%. 100% is like, oh, I ran away. He's like, I didn't know what to do. Which totally, and also it was like a 2-woman threesome. So it was not as if, I think it was just too much woman for Sean to handle.
I think they really just didn't like his super pole. That's the truth. They didn't like it.
I thought a super pole is what every woman wants.
And
girl, it's what you want. It's what you want.
It's what I want.
No, I need that Super Bowl 2020. Super Bowl 2000 is too outdated.
It's true. It's a 20-year-old model. No, thank you.
No, mine is
Amen.
So Sean's terrified of his threesome. Rudy markedly does not like how they're talking about all this sex stuff. But so Rudy is hilariously just like terrible still in this situation. He has big get off my lawn energy and hates all the new people. Nicole, any comments?
No, yeah, giving me very much Karen, can I see the manager of the other tribe? Send them straight back to where they came from. Yeah, just he said what that they more people was more of a pain in his ass. I mean, especially because the Pagong Beach was just like mud baths and really nothing too eventful over there. Like you put too many cooks in the kitchen and then that's when things get unproductive. Their roof wasn't collapsed before they got there. Seems suspicious.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Josh?
Just a little bit. I think with everything going on, the funny part for me was Rudy. I just think he's just like, get these people off and out of my tribe, send them all a packing. Maybe Rudy is the one that invented the term pagonging. Spoiler alert.
We'll see. So we get to the immunity challenge, and as you know, when merge hits, individual immunity kicks in. So the round one rules for this challenge, it is certainly an endurance challenge. It's actually, I believe, our first endurance challenge. And so round one, all the survivors must submerge themselves underwater, and the last three people to surface, or the people who hold the three people who hold their breath the longest, will move on to the second round. So immediately, Sean looks like he's dying the whole time that they're underwater. He immediately turns purple. Jervis does not have a care in the world for this challenge. He's just chilling, which is incredible to me for someone who repeatedly over the season we have been hearing that Jervis can't swim, and yet Jervis is just chilling.
Maybe he secretly can swim.
But why wouldn't he use it?
He's excelling in the water, taking down Kelly a couple episodes ago in that challenge. He's doing well in the water immunity challenge. Look at Jervis go.
I don't know, girl. I don't know.
If you set the bar low, you can only go up from there,
That is true.
Classic strategy.
That is true. But speaking of low bars, so Sean, Greg, and Jervis all make it to the second round, where there is a submerged ladder. Bar. I don't know. Low bar. Dumb joke. There is a set of low bars that Sean and Greg have to pull them. Sean, Greg, and Jervis all need to pull themselves along underwater, collecting flags along the way. The first person to run the whole length of the ladder, or rather swim the whole length of the ladder, is the winner. Now, this is not really a swimming challenge. So it really surprises me that Jervis sort of just takes a break, and it is Sean and Greg neck and neck through the whole second round of the challenge. Eventually, though, Greg wins by just a hair. We love to see it. How do y'all feel about this immunity challenge overall? TikTok Nicole, please.
That's my little white boy. Go, Greg. This challenge, do you guys do this when you're watching a movie? You hold your breath to see if you would survive. So that was me. I was out at the 45th second. So the fact that they had to hold their breath and run across a ladder underneath the water, yeah, I would have taken a Jervis and just had a nap and floated in the water.
You know what? As we know, Jervis has been living rent-free since episode 1. It's a common theme. Go Jervis. I love Jervis. He's amazing.
We love to see it. Okay, so as we know, we don't get much strategy in these pre-tribal discussions, but what we're seeing is a strong Tagi 4 and a very scattered Pagong going into this vote. Pagong really hasn't had to strategize yet. Their decisions have all sort of been easy and personal and made for it hasn't been, they haven't really had to play the game. And so now when we get into this vote, we see that big time. Jenna votes with a moo for Jervis. Sean has decided to vote alphabetically. And eventually, at the end of the vote, Gretchen has been blindsided by the Tagi 4.
And can I say, Sam, this is the first real blindside in Survivor history. No one saw this coming. Like, even when we were watching it, you haven't seen it in a long time, but I was prepared for this. I knew this is coming. But this is the first time no one saw this coming. Like, I remember you sitting next to me and she's like, okay, it's Jenna that goes, right? I'm like, no, it's not. Because no one saw this coming. Nicole, what are your thoughts on it?
Like, everybody hates Jenna, but, like, that's why we got to keep her around. Jenna talks a lot, but I'm going to deal with her talking if it gets me a million. The fact that Pagong was so self-righteous, like, they vote based off of who doesn't have merit for the team. Just, that is so, like, short-sighted to me. How could you not even if you don't personally believe in strategy, to act like that it's not going on is just a detriment to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You think Greg was
like when people are like, well, I'm not going to join an alliance. Like, you are competing for $1 million. And like, this is your moment to be like, no, like, I don't do alliances.
No, it's hard.
Oh, Josh, how do you feel about that?
You know what? I didn't see it coming. If it's like my first time watching the episode, pretending it's the first time ever, I did not see it coming.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they would take out, as I was saying, a Jenna or even like a Jervis or something. But like, how did Pagong not get it together? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. You're going into a merge 5-5. You would think you'd try and pull something together. And in the last episode, we saw Joel and Jervis starting to talk about it before they voted out Joel. We need to come together. It's just they couldn't get their shit together. And Tagi saw that as a move that they could play on, and they did. So props to them.
Props to you, mama. Okay, so I think with that, we're wrapped on episode 7. Y'all ready to hop into episode 8?
Let's go.
One more thing I want to mention is that when they're talking about at Tribal Council, this is where I knew that I was a Kelly Wigglesworth stan. I think Jeff goes, are there alliances? And then someone from Tagi or Pagong goes, no, there can't be. And just Kelly has the biggest eye roll ever. I'm like, okay, Kelly. Okay, Kelly is playing. That was exciting. I was happy to see that. I just remembering watching the show when I saw it for the first time. I didn't think Kelly was like all that. But now I'm like, Miss Kelly is that girl.
Yeah, she's Miss Challenge Beast.
Okay.
She will become so. Spoiler alert. She sort of begins her movement towards the final. She puts herself in a good spot. Yeah. Kelly is putting herself in a good place by making friendly with the other girls. I mean, it's good strategy. And it's sad that Richard and Sue hold that against her. But episode 8, we start with our favorite segment. Not really. It's just driving us crazy. Life at camp.
The fact that there's a Sonia and a Ramona on this season, and it took me till now to figure that out, iconic.
We've never talked about that, how there's a Sonia and a Ramona.
And it's not like they're like best girlfriends, but like still uncanny.
Maybe they went on the pre-jury trip together and like
Real Housewives of Borneo.
That's a great one.
The more iconic duo, I'll wait.
An iconic duo. Okay, so episode 8, Life at Camp. Jenna wants to bond with the girls. Kelly wants to bond with these new Pagong girls coming in. Jenna and Colleen, and Sue is a little sad. Sue's crusty about it. She talks about how she is not interested in forging any sort of live-in gal pal alliance. Rudy is still complaining about the new people at camp. He wants them off his lawn. Sue is talking about how people are being pigs and like eating up all the resources at camp. We get the camera flashing to Jervis, who is living rent-free in the Tagi camp as well, or now Ratana camp. Greg is still very suspicious of Richard, and yet we get sort of this fun, flirty relationship between them. And Jenna immediately remarks on this change that we've seen in Greg, where he's more guarded. He's more like playing the game. Greg has like a really sort of disturbing speech about Colleen being his kitten, and it's getting close to the time that he needs to stab his kitten. It's really really troubling.
Yeah, Nicole, what's your thought?
It's not like Colleen has done much in this game, and we'll get to like my newfound confusion for Colleen as a casting choice. As we get deeper into this episode, the more she like denies strategy and alliances. Why can't Greg understand that like pulling her along like that's a number for him? Like, why is he so adamant about cutting her throat? It seems like I don't know. It seems like a personal fantasy.
Yeah.
Definitely going into their sexual fantasy between Greg and Colleen. We all knew it was happening. The cameras just weren't on. Let's get real. They're denying. But we know what happened.
And he wants to he wants to decorate his jungle nest with her corpse.
Really like indie pop punk couple vibes, like like very like heroin chic type girl, and like the skinny white dude. Like Greg is one stomach tattoo away from being at Warped Tour.
I'm pretty sure that they are Bon Iver.
That's the vibe I got. He's like that. Greg is like that guy who goes to Harvard. Definitely bisexual. I said this even before. A spoiler that happens later in the episode. Like sleeps with men and women. Probably does a lot of hallucinatory drugs. Like that would be smokes a lot of pot.
Absolutely.
Greg.
We love to see it. We appreciate that kind of man. So then we get into so speaking of the bisexuality though, Richard is in his fun flirty relationship with Greg, is asking Greg if he's ever had sex with men before, and we learn that it is an off-camera story.
Okay, Greg, my DMs are open.
Yeah. No, I'm like, Greg, my DMs and my asshole are open.
Welcome to the Queen podcast. Let's go.
I don't know. I have a complex against blonde men. I don't know if it's just me. Like when they don't have eyebrows, it just freaks me out. It's very like alien-like.
I feel that, but at the same time, like, I don't know. I want to like play xylophone on his rib cage, and I don't know. I just kind of want to like do psychedelics with Greg and like have a cuddle puddle in our nest in the jungle.
Enjoy your fantasy with Greg. I know you want Greg. I want Jervis. So hey, you can have him. I'll take Jervis. Good.
Honestly,
who am I left with?
You get Sean. You get the one who.
You get a doctor with a
you get a doctor step for life, girl. He's an anesthesiologist.
See, I'm going to be the Real Housewife of Borneo now. Money bags as a trophy wife.
So with that, we get into the reward challenge, which is an archery challenge. But we also learn with this challenge, we are getting videos from loved ones. And when I say videos, I mean VCRs from loved ones.
Let's go.
I think we really, so first we just sort of get clips of who the people at home are, why they're sending videos. I kind of would like to go through and discuss our thoughts on all of these videos because there are some real interesting ones in the mix. Not to come for anyone's families, but spoiler alert, we're coming for y'all's families. Let's start with Richard's video. Richard has a video of his son, which is adorable.
He's cute.
It's like he might get bullied in school a bit. He's just real nerdy. He's nerdy. He's very pale.
I don't know if he was nerdy, but like that's cool. I didn't know Richard had a kid, so it's like it's really cool. So we don't know the story behind that or like how it happened or any of that, but like hey, I was happy to see that. That was like one of my favorite videos. It was cute.
Yeah, I don't remember. Wait, no, Richard, he was on The Biggest Loser. I don't remember them ever mentioning a kid when he was on that. So that's why I was so thrown back.
Yeah, no, they had a video of his son. And I don't know. I thought it was interesting. Yeah, we didn't get like, is this a child from a marriage to a woman? Did you and your domestic partner at the time like adopt? Like, what's the deal? But we never find out because Richard doesn't win the reward challenge. So if I did not mention that, if they win the reward challenge, they get like an intro video. Basically, they get like 5 seconds from their loved one, and then if they win the challenge, they get to watch the whole video. So then we get to Kelly. Her boyfriend is in a straight up drug rug. He looks like drugs. He wants to go rafting with her. Come back and let's go rafting, babe.
Yeah, drug rug is in my notes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's the man looks You know,
Drugged out.
he looks like meth in a motel. Okay, like
Breaking Bad chic.
not without the chic.
I bet you he had bags of blue drugs all around his house. He works for Walter White. I mean, this was before the days of the show, so you never know, people.
He was the blueprint.
He was the Blue Band Group.
So next we get into Greg's psychotic sister. She and Greg seem it's a loving brother-sister relationship, but she's real weird and she's like, sis loves you. And like anytime like siblings use baby talk with each other, like it makes me uncomfortable. I don't know. How'd y'all feel about Greg's sister's intro video? Just the intro part.
I feel like you can't get into the intro without getting into the whole thing. Like, I feel like she was trolling, but for all the things you can troll about, having sex with your brother is not something I would troll about.
Yeah.
It was awkward. I was like, really, like, is this really happening right now? This is weird.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not actually a sister. Maybe hopefully it's his sister, like his like half sister,
his sister wife,
his sister-in-law, or stepsister. Okay, I mean they're not by blood, so I mean there you go. But like that's just weird.
And it's funny to me because, like, as we know, like incest jokes like never land at a comedy club. I'll just throw that out there. Like, I am a comedian, Nicole, and you can't make it funny. But there is always someone who will make the point. Well, if they aren't trying to have children, is there anything? Yes, there is something wrong with it. No,
that's some straight up Lannister blood right up in there.
It feels they're both blonde. I mean, it feels very, very Game of Thrones, very Lannister.
Jamie.
What was that?
I said, come through Miss Jamie and Cersei.
Exactly,
yes,
exactly. We'll get back to that video because there's so much more to discuss there. But Sue and her immense husband, their 2 dogs, and then an unnamed woman sitting on the couch.
Yeah, who is that?
I personally believe is Sue's lesbian lover, and the husband is just a beard, and like they're all gay in this house. But her husband recites a very strange poem to her. He makes a lot of weird noises. Oh no, sorry, that's someone else. We'll get there. But he recites a poem and then he shoves the dog into the camera. Sue is laughing psychotically. I don't know why. Thoughts on Sue's video?
Well, she was laughing because her dog looked depressed. Did you not hear that?
I know.
She's like, my dog looks so depressed, and then she starts cackling. Like, I made sure to make note of it because, like, a couple episodes when Sue was saying tapioca, I'm like, oh, so she's like this is like a running gag that she has an accent that is not, the most pleasant to my ears. But yeah, another example. Like, we're giving Jenna such a hard time, but Miss Sue.
I'm sorry. This is the hashtag Justice for Sue podcast.
So we do have
Sue.
But her accent is annoying. Like,
come on,
tapioca. We're looking for the tapioca. Like, yeah, we know. Like,
why did they have to put that in the previous Leon episode a couple episodes back? Because they want you to remember that her voice sounds like
tapioca.
I bet you they sent her a lifetime supply of like tapioca pudding after she was on the show.
Girl, get her residuals. That's
what honey. Get that bag of tapioca.
Yes, girl. But honestly, my thought, yes. I mean, I was thinking that could be her sister or her girlfriend. I don't know. I did not know why there was this random woman that wasn't her kid. She definitely would have said that's my daughter. Like, yeah. I don't think Sue does Sue have kids?
I don't. It was.
It's a mystery that's never been solved. Welcome to Unsolved Mysteries with the Couch Potato Queens. Who was that mystery woman sitting on the couch for Sue's video? If you find it, please contact this number and we will reward you.
No, or just put it in the comments.
Or put it in the comments.
So then moving on, Colleen's parents make so much sense for her. They look like they came out of a 1950s sitcom. They're like relentlessly happy. They're like
and relentlessly boring. That's the thing.
Yes.
They're like their daughter.
Yeah, no, they're white America is what I get from them.
Very much Kraft cheese on Wonder Bread.
Yeah. There's not even butter with it. It's not even a grilled cheese. It's just like a regular cheese sandwich is what I'm getting.
Cold sandwich.
Yes.
Rudy's, do you know what? I think they're kind of like PB&J. They're classic. There's nothing surprising about them. In fact, they literally are just like exactly what you would expect.
No surprises.
No surprises. Rudy, I need to talk about Rudy's wife. Rudy's wife looks like Rudy put on a wig and recorded a video for himself. I mean, you cannot convince me that is not Rudy in a wig.
It's definitely Rudy in a wig.
I don't know. They seem kind of cute.
They seem like twins.
That's how they met each other, because it was like we belong together, and they did. Rest in peace to both Rudy and Marge Bosch. They are both no longer with us.
So I'm not going to make a Jamie and Cersei joke again.
I can't do it. I can't make a Jamie and Cersei joke for this one. They're both not alive, and I don't know.
Rudy does look really young out there. I'm like, is Rudy getting island hot? I feel like I can't say that about.
No, you can though, because Rudy does kind of get island hot.
But that's like 70. That's like a little past my age range.
I've been there.
He looks like 54.
Okay, I can do 54. I can do that. Under 55, I'm good.
Wait, he's in his 50s?
No, he looks like he's in his 50s.
He's in his like late 60s. He's probably like 69 or 68.
Got you there, girl. He's a young 70.
What? I mean, maybe like a Harrison Ford I would still do. Maybe.
Hey, no, I feel like George Clooney, that was like a celebrity crush of mine. Taylor Hicks, remember him?
Oh my God.
Taylor Hicks, yeah.
Soul Patrol! So Sean's family fakes a car crash for his video, and they tell him not to come home. Jervis's kids and partner are adorable. They're really, really cute. And then we finally get to Jenna's family.
And none for Jenna Lewis.
In the ultimate Gretchen Wieners move, Jenna's family does not send a video. Jenna does not get a video. And she has a full breakdown shooting her bow and arrow. And in this bizarre speech about how she misses her beauties. It's weird. It feels like a rat queen with her preciouses, her gems and glitters. I don't know. It's weird. Greg wins. Let's talk about Greg's weird sister video. I mean, can we start with the weird, potentially racist sort of Asian impersonation voice that she does?
Yeah, it's weird. It looks like a puppeteer, like she was doing puppets or something, like a puppet show. I was just like, who is this? And she needs to go. Yeah, bye.
The only thing I could relate to is when they said, what would Billy Joel do? Because I'm from Long Island, so that's something that my parents probably would say to me.
Oh yeah, Billy Joel is very he's Long Island.
The king of Long Island. Like everybody has a I saw Billy Joel on the Montauk Highway story. And if you're from Long Island, you know what I'm talking about.
Does he still live there? And
I think he has a house in Oyster Bay, but seeing Billy Joel in concert was like a rite of passage growing up.
Greg's sister has a really weird video. Rudy straight up says in an interview that he thinks it's an incest thing. It's rough. So, we'll move on though. Yeah. We'll get into Jervis. We're seeing a little bit more. People are noticing that he's lazy around camp. The Tagi tribe is not, or the former Tagi members are really not digging that. Sue says that she's going to work that boy till he's gone. Now, Jervis is really reveling in being the entertainer for the group and not doing work, which is the only reason I feel like this is not a racist storyline by production, but I do very much feel like we are consistently being served a Jervis is lazy storyline. How do we feel about this?
I mean, I think it's easy. It's I don't know. When you don't cast a diverse cast, you don't really get to see all of the different amazing traits of all the different types of people. I don't know. It just feels lazy.
It feels lazy on the part of production.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I think there were so many other attributes to Jervis that were not included in this, or like they were maybe included in like a small way, but they could have been shown a lot more. Like Jervis was a strategist. Jervis was playing the game and was a strong player. And I don't think originally people, when they first watched it, gave him credit for that. But like rewatching it, wow, Jervis knew how to play the game. Honestly, I think Jervis was one of the strongest players on Pagong, if not the strongest. Him and Greg were the two strongest players on Pagong, no question.
I would agree.
So I don't know. Maybe it was just like how they did editing back then compared to now. But I think if that season was on now today, Jervis would be hands down one of the strongest players in the game.
Agreed.
It's all social game. Like, who was he playing cards with? Sean and Richard, two of the people you want to be, building bonds with.
Yeah, absolutely. So we get into the immunity challenge. It is a carabiner challenge with lots of ropes. They had to slide, so they were attached to a harness, and they had to slide along the ropes using their carabiner and pick up a variety of other carabiners at each checkpoint. Jervis wins pretty handily and is one of the first people from Pagong to start openly talking strategy. He wants to lock down a group with himself, Greg, and Colleen. But then we get into tribal, which is kind of fun. Jeff is asking about alliances by, asking about balancing ruthlessness with votability. Richard says he isn't strategizing. When Jeff asks Sue straight up about alliances, she just says no. She's like, no, I'm not doing that. Kelly also lies really well. And ultimately Greg is voted out. And has this whole pretends to cry thing, which is similarly uncomfortable to his sister's video. And that's that. We are starting to see the real snowball effect of Pagong not strategizing early enough and Tagi staying strong. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about how sort of immunity challenge and vote went down. What do y'all think? TikTok, Nicole, why don't you get us started?
I feel like Greg was the right choice to get rid of, especially because he was questioning Richard. The fact that he's even, you can see the wheels turning in his head. That's a bad sign for, a group. You want to kind of quell that threat as soon as possible. So even though that was the right choice, it just kind of sucks that Greg being a Harvard or Ivy League graduate, he couldn't figure out that if something's suspicious, he should work to, counterclaim it.
Totally. I agree. And he did know that Richard was a threat, but he didn't do a whole lot. Yeah. I mean, it was a lack of action for Pagong. Really?
Yeah, what about your kin? Get your kin to vote the way that you want her to vote. I don't know. Is it a moral thing? Is it an ethical thing? Why aren't you, using what you have?
I also agree, Nicole. It was the smartest decision. I think Richard felt threatened by Greg and felt like Greg was the one who was on to him, and Richard wanted a bunch of lambs to send to the slaughterhouse. So I think it was smart for them to take out Greg next, and I think it's another sign they started showing Sean's alphabet strategy. Which is definitely going to be coming into play on the next episode, Sean's alphabet strategy. So where it's given us some serious foreshadowing.
Yeah, it is.
What's going on with that? So.
And in the words of Jenna Lewis, I think for Pagong, what we're seeing here is it's just a little too late. So now I want to get though and start discussing our tops, bottoms, and hot messes for these two episodes. TikTok Nicole, who's your top player for these two episodes?
So I was gonna go the classic, it's gonna be Richard. But the more that we've talked about it, I really think that Sue does a lot for that alliance. I think she's second in command to Richard, and I feel like if he didn't have somebody there who could strategically validate him, I feel like Sue is that person, and that's why they have to. I don't want to spoil, but I feel like she goes the distance, and Richard sees what a threat she is when they get to the end.
Yeah, I love it. Josh, who's your top?
I am going to agree with Nicole. I also put Sue, and I think it's another underrated contestant in the history of Survivor. I think Sue's the first contestant that really started playing the game, and I think that she had the most control over the numbers at merge. She's the one who knew that Gretchen was going to be the biggest threat, taking out Gretchen. I think Sue was all behind that. She knows how to talk to people and manipulate and join the right and tell people what they want to hear and make decisions for herself and her game. So Sue 1000% would be my top.
I don't know. My top for the episode is still going to be Richard. I know y'all both said Richard's the obvious choice, but he's the obvious choice for the reason. He, first of all, like super manipulated Jenna. You know, he really led that group of like getting her to choose exactly what they wanted her to choose. He controls the fish still, and everyone knows he controls the inflow of fish. And also, he coordinated the Greg takedown, even though this was someone he was bonding with. And in a future season, it could have been a stunt move on Richard's part to leap out, you know, and sort of start something new with Greg. Instead, identifies his two biggest threats, Gretchen and Greg from Pagong, takes them out. Pagong is crippled. Okay, so bottoms first. Josh, who's your bottom player for the episode?
You're horrible. My bottom player is Dr. Sean Kniff. The reason I chose Sean is because, as Sue says eventually, Sean's an idiot, because he is an idiot. He's dumb. He does not know he's playing the game. I don't think he knows he's on Survivor. I think he was taking like a vacation or something. The guy is... Sorry, he has book smarts. He does not have street smarts. He has no street smarts. Zero street smarts.
Yeah.
So I just don't... I can't put it together with him. So Sean is my bottom player.
I feel you. TikTok Nicole, who's your bottom player for these episodes?
See, as much as I want to go on like my anti-Colleen tirade that I kind of alluded to earlier in the episode, I feel like she's boring and that gets her through the round. So I'm going to go with Greg because I feel like he was so close, but he didn't put the pieces together. And that's just like sad. The fact that he knew that he had a voting block and he knew exactly who the suspicious person was. And if he talked to Colleen, he would know that Colleen voted to get Richard out last round. I don't know. It makes me a lot more disappointed when I know that something could have happened and it didn't.
Yeah, absolutely. For my bottom, I am with Josh in this one. I also said Dr. Sean. I mean, dude, alphabetical order? Are you like, at least, even though Pagong isn't strategizing, like at least they're actively choosing someone. Like going down a list? Are you not for me?
About it. Who's at the beginning of the alphabet? Colleen, Jervis, all of those people. Who's at the end? Richard, Rudy, to an extent. Like all the people, it's a coincidence, but I was always under the impression that it was something that he did to hide his true intentions. But hey, he hasn't really shown himself to be the most street smart, so maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. He does explain that a little bit down the line, like, oh, well, it was more Pagong in the beginning and Tagi towards the end. And it's like, I feel like he sort of retconned that, or I don't know, whatever the word is. Like, he felt stupid. He got called out for being stupid. And then they were like, he was like, oh, well, this is a good reason. I don't know. I think it's dumb. So now let's get to the Hot Mess Express. TikTok Nicole, take it away. Who's your hot mess for the episode?
Honorable mention to Kelly's tramp stamp.
Yes, we've talked about this multiple times.
So that was my hot mess express, but obviously Jenna, Miss Girl, could not keep it together in this episode. She continued to piss off her tri-mates so much that Greg potentially blew any strategic prowess by voting for her and having a witty confessional about it. Like, I feel like he only voted for her just so he could make fun of her. I don't know. Jenna could not get it together.
Oh, that's so
I love
funny.
that you're part of the hate club for Jenna Lewis with me. That's great. I love it. You population 3. It's great.
I don't know. I also said Jenna. I take no pleasure in it. The poor girl fell at the beginning of this episode, of episode 8, and then she just got dragged for the rest of the episode. I mean, we had like the emotional archery montage, like
I was Hunger Girls. Hunger Games.
Hunger Games. I know. It was like she was very catnip Everdeen.
Catnip Everdeen. Amazing.
It was a no for me, dog. She was the Taylor Hicks of the episode. Josh, how did you feel?
You know what? So I will say honorable mention Jenna Lewis. However, my choice for Hot Mess Express is the entire Pagong tribe because they just can't get it together. The whole tribe going down in flames. Like, they are so bad that to this day, people call a takeout of an entire tribe of Pagonging. They named something. That's how horrible they are. So for Hot Mess Express, Pagong tribe, deuces.
Yep.
The captain of Jenna Lewis of the Pagong tribe.
She is a iceberg dead ahead right there on the ship. It's
we love to see it.
Ship.
Oh, Lord. Okay, so we are running out of time today, but TikTok Nicole, there is something that I have been looking forward to all episode that I have not gotten, and that is your Colleen Rant. So I would rather, instead of a game today, I would like to hear you give your best spiel about why everyone in America should hate Colleen.
Let's give her full screen for this. Let's go.
Okay, I'm going to take a deep breath because I don't want anyone to think that this is a rant. I don't know. It's nothing against. I don't want people to think I'm a misogynist because I'm going after Colleen. I could be going after Rudy, or I could be going after Sean, like people that actually deserve to have vitriol towards them. But with that being said, I feel like Colleen does nothing for me. She's beautiful. She's gorgeous. She seems kind enough, but she does nothing for me. I watch her on the screen and she doesn't say anything of value. She doesn't add anything to the tribe. I don't know. It's very bland, very not flaws I doubt because that would be a positive thing. I don't know. It's just, there's something about Colleen where I see her and I'm like, it's not clicking for me. Like, I wish she would, I don't know. I wish she would slit Greg's throat first. That would have been way more enjoyable.
Agreed. Okay, well, TikTok Nicole, it has been a hoot and a holler and a half chatting with you today. I mean, truly a pleasure. Thank you so much for being a queen. Plug yourself. Where can the people find you?
Oh, well, thank you guys for having me. This was a lot of fun. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Behind the Secret. I'll probably be tweeting some dumb shit later, so keep your eye out.
So excited to see it. And Josh, where can the people find more Couch Potato Queens content? Stay up to date with us.
You can find us everywhere. Twitter at Couch Potato Queens. It's Couch Potato QWNZ. You can find us on our Facebook group, the Couch Potato Queens podcast. Check us out. Subscribe, like, comment. We would love to hear from you. Nicole, we had a great time with you today. You were awesome. You were awesome.
We love you. You're incredible. So, folks, follow us, follow Nicole, and remember to always outwit, outlast,
and outgay Henny.
Bye.